everybody, Brandon here. As you can see, I'm doing things a little bit differently today. Nathan couldn't be here to help, so I decided to kind of shake things up, change the format a little bit, at least for this episode, since I'm doing it by myself. So, let's get started. To start things off, Nintendo Switch right now is currently under investigation by the U.S. International Trade Commission for possible patent infringement. A company, GameVice, claims that Nintendo infringed on the patent that they have for detachable controllers on gaming devices. Now, I really don't see this going anywhere because, let's face it, Nintendo's a giant, GameVice is a very small company, and what they are saying Nintendo infringed upon is basically they have detachable controllers you can snap onto Android and iOS devices that play sort of like a Nintendo Switch. Now, they are pretty cool if you want to do things like emulation or play Android games with a controller, but it's hardly the same thing as things that are actually part of the console, which is what the Nintendo Switch, what their controllers and the Joy-Cons actually are. They're controllers that go to the console itself, not an Android device or a secondary device. So I really don't think anybody's got anything to worry about. Now, if by some chance GameVice did win this lawsuit, it could very possibly mean that Nintendo Switches are not allowed to be imported into the United States anymore if they are found guilty. But come on, let's face it, it's Nintendo, it's one of the game world superpowers. So, yeah. Speaking of superpowers, Avengers Infinity War just opened up last week and has already passed 800 million globally, making it the top-grossing film since 2002 for opening weekend. So this is amazing. I'm a huge fan of Marvel, but I'm honestly a bigger fan of DC, just in general. But when it comes to the films, I am a much bigger fan of what Marvel has done. I thought Man of Steel and Batman v Superman was actually a good direction to go to make it different. Now, a lot of people didn't like Batman v Superman. I didn't like some of it, but I did actually enjoy the movie. So Justice League for me was just terrible. I didn't like it at all. But this is huge. Me and my son, we went and seen Avengers Infinity War last week it was out for a day. Technically, it was the first day it was out because it came out on midnight that night. We went, theater was packed, and I loved it. I left shocked. I left kind of just in kind of a stun. I'm not going to spoil it if you guys haven't seen it yet and you've avoided spoilers this far. I will probably do a spoiler video on it here later in the next week or so. I do want to give more people a chance to watch the film before I go do something like that, because some people just can't help to be curious if they haven't seen the film yet, and I'm just not going to contribute to that. So, moving on. And over on the other side of the pond, no pun intended, there is a Swamp Thing TV series being developed for the DC Universe streaming service. It's shortly coming out. It's going to be hosting Titans. Some of the CW shows might move over there. I'm really not sure what they're planning on doing with that. I wouldn't be surprised if they're streaming there at least, even if they don't move there permanently. But they're developing a Swamp Thing series for this streaming service, and it's actually being helmed by famed horror director James Wan. You might know him from doing like Annabelle, The Conjuring. I think he did a couple Saw movies. He did one of the Fast and Furious movies. I can't really remember which one, but I mean, this guy is a great director. So right now he's currently working on Aquaman. He's wrapping things up on production there, and I'm thinking shortly after that he's going to be moving on to start production on the Swamp Thing film. I'm actually really pumped for this because I'm kind of old. I was around for the original Swamp Thing movies and TV shows that were they were connected to the movie. Actually, they carried on from the movie, and I loved those shows as a kid. So I'm really excited. I was pumped when they put Swamp Thing in Injustice 2. So this is another piece of cake for me. I love it. It's awesome. I can't wait to see it. So especially to have a name like James Wan attached to it. Can't wait. Moving on. As some of you saw my video that I posted, I believe it was last week, I posted a video about 343 Industries going after El Dorado for copyright infringement. Well, they didn't really say copyright infringement. They didn't actually push a lawsuit. They just posted that they were wanting to take legal actions. They were up to negotiations with El Dorado. They asked El Dorado to remove their files from their site so that nobody could download the game anymore, at least not from them. This wasn't a legal thing. They didn't legally make them do it. They just asked them to, and El Dorado complied. They took the files down off the site, but the game is still currently running if you already have the files or you have a way of getting the files. And I've had quite a few people write me about this after my last video and say things to me and ask me about. Some of them were asking questions, some were just telling me things. So I'm wanting to clarify some of these things that were said to me and asked from me. I had a couple people write on there, and one of the most recent ones was pretty rude, saying, well, the game's not shut down. They can't shut the game down. The servers are peer-to-peer. All they can do is make them take down the files, and they can't update the mod anymore. and I want to address that. Now, like I said, nothing legally has been done yet by 343. They are in negotiations with El Dorado. So legally, nothing has been done. That's why the game is still up and running. As for the servers being peer-to-peer, yes, the servers are peer-to-peer, but there's a reason you can't play Halo 2 online anymore without one of the third-party Xbox Live adapters to connect you to other hosts, things like that, things of that nature. There's a reason a lot of games that are peer-to-peer server you can't play anymore, especially on older systems. And the reason that is, and the reason that they can actually shut down El Dorado, is because while the games are peer-to-peer, while you have one player connecting to 8 more players, or 8 players connecting to 1 more player, and it's one person hosting it, and then when that person leaves, it migrates. While the servers are peer-to-peer, the host lobby, the thing that puts the giant list of hosts you can connect to, and the giant list of lobbies for you to choose, isn't peer-to-peer. That's on El Dorado's end. They're the one that hosts the lobby. Now, it takes very little data. It's probably not even a full server. It's probably just a regular computer, just basically hosting lobbies, saying, okay, well, this person's got a lobby open at this IP address, put it in the list here so that other people can find it. If 343 were to file a cease and desist on that, they have to remove it. And while the game would still technically be around, connecting to lobbies would be very difficult. You'd have to do a manual connection by IP address, probably from a website. If 343 gets wind of that website that's giving you IP addresses to lobbies, they get shut down. I mean, and it's a slippery slope, because after they file a cease and desist on this mod, if anybody tries to continue on, while they might be nice to El Dorado now, even if they tell them to take it down, whoever decides they want to go ahead and try to keep making the mod or working on the mod, if they get caught, this would be more of a warning what they do to El Dorado. If somebody else gets caught trying to do stuff after they've already been warned, not only could El Dorado get in even more trouble, but whoever's hosting the site with the lobbies, they could get in even more trouble. So if that does happen, I do not suggest trying to start a site hosting lobbies. I don't, because that technically all the assets in those files, they are 343 property, and they can be shut down and they can take legal action. So just don't do it. But yes, they can take the game down. They can take as much of it down as possible anyway. So don't believe what you hear when people say, oh, well, they can't shut the game down because the servers are peer-to-peer. They are peer-to-peer, but the host lobby, the list of the hosts, that is not peer-to-peer. That is on El Dorado's end. So they can shut it down, and if they want to, they will. Nothing legally has been done yet. But that's all the time I got today. I'm sorry I didn't post a lot of videos this week. I've kind of had, not really a writer's block, but I just haven't really found any more interesting games. Now, I seem to get a lot of traction on some of the games that are more well-known, but the problem I have doing a lot of videos on games that are more well-known is because I'm a smaller creator, they don't show up as much. They're usually buried, especially lately since the new AI's kicked in. Basically, if you're not partnered, you get pushed way at the bottom of the list. So that's why if you look through a lot of my videos, I try to do smaller known games you might not have heard of, that you probably really enjoy. But because they're lesser known games, I don't think anybody's searching for them. So it's just been like, I'm trying to find my ground. I'm hitting a writer's block a little bit. So I decided to do this today and get it up for you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed it. But yeah, that's all the time I got for today, and I will try to get another video up this weekend. I don't know what though. So I will see you guys next time.